Ready for my robo intro.
Friend Feldon teaches at Coastline Community College. His interests include technology and social media and higher education.
Thank you, Robo. I'm going to talk about active learning, so I'm going to play off of the previous talk. Active learning and engagement, which is clearly not taking place in the next slide, the two pictures that you're about to see. How many of you have walked by rooms and looked in and seen that? I have. I actually haven't seen a professor with his head back snoring, but I have seen him lean back, heels up on the desk, reading notes verbatim, but the rest of the class doesn't look like the other pictures. It turns out that when we wire sensors up to students' skulls and measure their brain activity, the least amount of activity takes place during class. There's more brain activity that takes place during sleeping and watching TV. So basically we're doing our students a disservice, I believe, if you use a straight lecture method of teaching. It's actually more important, of course, what your students do than what you do, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the pushback that we often receive from faculty who just say, I have no time for active learning. I have no time for engagement. There's too much content to cover. And the solution for that is that we need to change the style of teaching to allow students to become lifelong learners, to enable them to possess the skills to answer questions instead of taking notes. Content is ubiquitous. In our discipline, here's just a sampling of maybe a dozen websites that are all free that you can search using key terms and come up with lectures that you can pause and rewind and fast forward, or answers to any question that we give in any of our courses at any level in the community college curriculum, from developmental math to Diffie Qs. It's all there. Your job is not to deliver content. And there are students who will resist that. You really have to sell. If you use a method of active learning, you have to sell this to your class. And the one on the previous slide, the one student realized, yes, that we can learn on our own, and we do learn on our own, and it is possible to learn on your own. And if you do active learning techniques like flipping your class, that doesn't mean you get to stand at the podium and check your email while the students do problems on the computer. It also doesn't mean that we need to necessarily teach the traditional curriculum. Maybe we're teaching the wrong thing. Maybe we're putting lipstick on the pig. All right, so that's enough about the classroom. Let's talk about online teaching and learning. The second half of my talk is going to focus on teaching and learning online. In our department at Coastline College, 85% of our enrollment in the department is purely online. And the federal government has recently begun auditing courses from a few students receiving financial aid, and they were never worried about the quality of instruction before. They were never worried about professors reading lecture notes and not being interactive in the classroom. But all of a sudden, when it comes to teaching and learning online, they become very particular and very picky about the quality of instruction. If you are not interacting with your students, it becomes defined as correspondence courses, which doesn't qualify for financial aid. So we're talking about millions of dollars in federal funding are at stake unless your college can implement basic best practices for teaching and learning online. RSI stands for Regular Substantive Interaction. Our academic senate met a few months ago and formally defined all those terms. Non-interactive things are like study hard for the quiz coming up. Good job, everybody. Don't forget to turn in your homework. Don't forget the midterm is coming up in a week. Those are purely administrative. Instead, you need to focus on academic substantive content. You can get it through non-routine problems, encouraging and guiding students to, instead of emailing you, to post it in a discussion forum so everyone can benefit from that. And the Department of Education is going to be looking at your discussion forums and asking for proof of interaction. You have to show a certain number of hours of evidence of interaction, and it becomes very, very difficult to ask online students to participate, even if it's required. I have been collecting hundreds of books, journals, and websites that have non-routine problems, things like, if the Great Salt Lake in Utah were made of Jell-O, how many calories would it have? Or Dr. Sue taught me a great question at one of his AMATIC presentations, which is the smallest, which is the largest? The number of seconds since the Big Bang, the number of ways to shuffle a deck of cards, the number of ways to fill out an NCAA bracket. So I just seed my discussion forums with these types of non-routine questions, and every one of them generate 5 or 10 messages every few days. Works great. Thank you very much.